Have you tried explaining to somebody why you just can't push through your fatigue? Why some days you can conquer the world, you can do anything, but other days just getting dressed, just getting out of bed feels so daunting. It feels like it's sucking every little bit of your energy for the entire day. Explaining these things to a normal person, quote normal, it can be difficult and it can make you feel other. And sometimes we want to have a simple way to explain it. And that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the spoon theory, which was developed expressly for this reason, to explain the fatigue of a chronic illness like Hashimoto's to a friend. So if you're new to the podcast, hi, I'm Esther. I'm a registered nurse. I have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I have 4 boys. I homeschool 2 of them. 2 of them go to a public charter school. My husband and I and our 4 boys live in Minnesota. We got a whole bunch of chickens and we just ordered chickens. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I was talking to you about the seed catalogs and the chicken catalogs, and we put in our order and I'm so excited. Well, let's talk about the spoon theory. So this theory was developed out of frustration. So the person who came up with it, her name is Christine Miserandino. I think that's how you say her last name. I probably got it wrong. She was sitting at a restaurant with one of her very best friends. Her best friend had been with her through so much. Christine has lupus, and her friend had been to doctor's appointments with her, had been through highs and lows. And she asked Christine, what does it feel like to have lupus? And she didn't want to know the nuts and bolts of a diagnosis. She wanted to know what it actually felt like. And Christine thought about how she could explain it. She was trying to figure it out, and she noticed a spoon on the table. So she gathered a bunch of spoons from around the diner, and she handed her friend a bouquet of spoons. And that was the start of the spoon theory. Essentially, 1 spoon is 1 unit of energy. And when you're talking about your day in terms of spoons, every single thing you do costs a set amount of units of energy. So spoons. So getting up out of bed, waking up, sitting up, depending on how much energy you're starting with, how many spoons, you might even count sitting up on the side of your bed as a spoon. Now, for a lot of people with Hashimoto's, we don't experience the physical hardships that somebody with lupus does, but you're still going to spend energy or spoons on getting up, getting out of bed, taking a shower. So Christine and her friend went through an imaginary day in the life of somebody with lupus. Her friend started out with this bouquet of spoons, and then she had to think through everything that you do. You get up, take a shower, you get dressed, you eat breakfast, you go travel to work. Each of these things take spoons. I'm going to post a link to Christine's Spoon Theory PDF. It's only 2 pages. It's super quick to read. You can read it, the whole thing. I highly encourage you to. The link is down in the show notes. I'm going to read 2 quotes from it. As she's explaining what she was doing with her friend, she said, I asked her to count her spoons. She asked why, and I explained that when you're healthy, you expect to have a never-ending supply of spoons. But when you now have to plan your day, you need to know exactly how many spoons you're starting with. It doesn't guarantee that you might not lose some along the way, but at least it helps to know where you're starting. My friend counted out 12 spoons. She laughed and she said she wanted more. I said no, and I knew right away that this little game would work when she looked disappointed and we hadn't even started yet. I have wanted more spoons for years, and I haven't found a way to get more. Why should she? That's so interesting. Some of my highest downloaded podcast episodes are how to get more energy. And I do have ideas of how you can do that, how you can do it with prescriptions. We talked about LDN a couple weeks ago. We talked about Synthroid last week. We've talked about natural ways. Like I said, my highest downloaded episodes are about getting more energy, and I have natural ways and pharmaceutical ways that you can do that. Obviously, my favorite ways are the natural ones. So check those out. Again, they'll be down in the show notes, links to everything. I want you to be able to create more energy. And that's one of the biggest things we do in the Holistic Hashimoto's course. You want to get your life back. And you can't have your life back unless you have your energy back, right? So obviously that is a huge thing that we focus on, is figuring out your root causes. That's in the Hashimoto's Decoded mini course. That's the root causes revealed. And if you know you're going to do the holistic Hashimoto's course, you don't have to do the root causes, because the root causes course is included in the full course. So you can just jump right in there, figure out your root causes, and get going on figuring out how to get more energy, how to figure out how to address those root causes so you can feel like yourself again. Okay, so I'm going to continue with Christine's account of developing the Spoonie theory in real time. So I'm skipping down to the second page where they've gone through the day and her friend was upset. Her friend was really sad about all of these spoons that Christine has to think about, all of the energy expenditures. And so jumping in here, she says, I rarely see her friend, emotional. So when I saw her upset, I knew maybe I was getting through to her. I didn't want my friend to be upset, but at the same time, I was happy to think finally maybe somebody understood me a little bit. She had tears in her eyes and asked quietly, Christine, how do you do it? Do you really do this every day? I explained that some days were worse than others. Some days I have more spoons than most, but I can never make it go away, and I can't forget about it. I always have to think about it. I handed her one more spoon I'd been holding in reserve. I said simply, I have learned to live life with an extra spoon in my pocket in reserve. You have to be prepared. It's hard. The hardest thing I've ever had to learn is to slow down, to not do everything. I fight this to this day. I hate feeling left out. I hate having to choose to stay home, or to not get things done that I want to. I wanted my friend to feel that frustration. I wanted her to understand that everything everyone else does comes so easy, but for me, it's 100 little jobs in one. When other people can just simply do things, I have to attack it and make a plan like I'm strategizing for a war. It's in that lifestyle, the difference between being sick and healthy. It's the beautiful ability to not just think and do. I miss that freedom. I miss never having to count spoons. She concludes that ever since that night, she's used that spoon theory to explain her life to many people, and the spoon theory is kind of like a code word. And so I'm asking you, have you heard of the spoon theory? I first heard about it on Instagram, and I don't remember when. I know it was several years ago. Maybe it was Instagram. I don't even actually completely remember. It might have been Facebook. It might have been a group. It might have been a podcast, but I have heard it referenced a lot because it is something that a lot of people with chronic fatigue, chronic illnesses, Hashimoto's, we relate to it. Because when you have something that is limiting your energy, then you have to have a way to communicate that to other people. And the spoon theory is just beautiful in its simplicity, and other people can understand it. It's just a way that you can communicate with your family and your friends. Now, Hashimoto's will obviously affect energy levels because your thyroid produces the little ignition switch for your cells. And if your cells can't turn on, they can't do what they're supposed to do. If your cells aren't doing what they're supposed to do, then your organs, your tissues, or your body systems are not doing what they're supposed to do. You don't have energy to get through the day. You have to have enough energy at a cellular level. And part of that is a working, healthy thyroid. So Hashimoto's drains our energies. And we've talked a lot on this podcast about, the different ways that affects us, the different ways it shows up, because it's not just physical energy. It can be mental energy. It can be your metabolism. It can be your mental health, depression. There's a lot of different things that this energy impacts. Hashimoto's affects your energy levels. And because it affects your energy levels, you might really be resonating with this spoon theory. And I love this common language of using the spoon theory for one big reason. It's because understanding your energy limits, it's not a weakness. Understanding what you have to work with and then working within that, that is wisdom. That is being in control of your day. That is being the CEO of your own health. I talk about that a lot because you are in control. And part of that is knowing your resources, knowing how many spoons you have to work with for the day. For myself, when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I was trying to figure out what my root causes were, and there wasn't a course like mine yet. There wasn't somebody saying, you probably have these root causes. These are the most common. Here's how to look for them. Like, I had to figure all of this out on my own. And as I was looking at all of the root causes, I realized that some of my root causes were probably my sleep, because I felt, obviously, if I am super, super tired, then sleep is an issue. And then I also figured that stress was an issue. So I set to make a plan about how I can work on both of those things, sleep and stress. Number one, I invested in an Aura ring because Aura excels in tracking both of those things. And when I was looking at my statistics with my Aura ring, I realized that my sleep, even though I was getting 6, 7, 8, even 9 hours of sleep, even, 10 and 12 some days, including the naps, my deep sleep was really, really small. I had less than 20 minutes usually of deep sleep. So that was one of the first things that I could physically or tangibly work on. I could work on it, and then the next morning I could see my data and see how I was doing. So I knew that my sleep was related to my energy. I knew that my sleep was impacting my immune system. I knew that my sleep quality was impacting everything. So that's one thing I worked on. I don't know about you. Because of all of the work I did on sleep, it was the first mini course that I did. I started it out as a 7 or 5 day email course that I would send to people. And every day there was something to learn about or something to work on. That is now in the Holistic Hashimoto's classroom. So if you go to school.com, SKOOL.com, and you join the Holistic Hashimoto's class, or the Holistic Hashimoto's group, there's a tab, the classroom, and the Jumpstart to Refreshing Sleep and Rest, now it's a mini course, is in there. It is free. You can go through it and figure out how to improve your sleep. Because when you improve your sleep, you're going to improve the time when your immune system can heal things. It can reset. It can heal itself. Like, you need good sleep, and that's going to impact your spoons. So we can work on sleep. Because if you're not sleeping well, it does impact your immune system, but it also impacts your energy. And this is this like a circle thing. Everything impacts everything. So we want to make sure that we're working on what is in our control. We want to be able to get more spoons. And like I said, in the energy episodes, I do have more ideas of how you can increase your energy or your spoons in practical ways. One of my favorite ones is taking the Protandim Dual Synergizer every single day. I've talked about it before. The Dual Synergizer is 2 different herbal activators. They're activating your body to do what your body is supposed to do. The foundational one is Protandim NRF2. Your NRF2 pathway in your body produces antioxidants. It controls your detox pathways. It controls your glutathione production. It cleans things up, and you need that for better health. You also need that for when your cells are working, because they're putting off, little exhaust, like a car. When you're driving a car, it's doing what it's supposed to, but the byproduct is some exhaust. Your cells have a little byproduct, and it's free radicals, it's oxidative stress. So the second part of the Dual Synergizer is the Protandim NRF1 pathway or activator. And your NRF1 pathway increases the mitochondria, the energy of your cell. And so the reason you have to do the NRF2 is because, of course, as the cells are working more, they're going to be producing more, quote, exhaust. And so you need that exhaust to be able to clean up. So you have to have them together. You can do the Protandim NRF2 without the NRF1, but you can't do the NRF1 without the NRF2. Otherwise, you're increasing the oxidative stress part of that pollution from your mitochondria working. So that's one thing I do every single morning. And it takes 30 seconds to put your little supplements in your hand and take them. Now, FYI, if you are taking the Protandim products, because they are developed with an exact synergy between products, you can't take other supplements with them. I just want you to know that, because it's patented. Like, the 5 different herbs in the Protandim NRF2, they are very small amounts. If you look at them, you're like, well, I already take turmeric. So shouldn't I be getting this effect? No, these work because they're combined in a specific recipe. It's like your grandma's favorite soup recipe. Like, she's not going to add a full cup of salt. Like, if she would do that, you would not want her soup recipe. Her soup recipe is specific as to how she makes it, and it is a perfect blend. And that is what the Rotandum is. So don't have other supplements with it. If you have questions, let me know. But that is one simple thing I do every day to increase my energy. Like I said, I also worked on my sleep. Those are some things that you can do to increase how many spoons you're starting out with for the day. You also have to know your warning signs for when you're running out of spoons. And then what are you going to do? So like, have maybe some freezer meals, or maybe you live in a city or town where you can have delivery. I do not. So I have to plan meals where I can just go to the fridge or freezer or pantry and have a quick, easy meal, because delivery is not an option where I live. But have those like things in your back pocket for how are you going to get through the rest of your day if all of a sudden you're out of energy, because you can't always just push through. You can't just make it work. Sometimes you don't have the spoons left. And that is why I love the spoon theory for talking to family and friends, because you are not lazy. You are not lazy. You are managing an autoimmune condition. Your autoimmune condition is called Hashimoto's. It impacts your thyroid. It impacts your energy. It impacts how you get through the day. And yes, you are working on becoming healthier. You're supporting your body as it does what it's supposed to do. You are trying to find resources. You're listening to this podcast to get more educated, to figure out what you can do. You're doing so many different things. You're not lazy. Just because you don't have enough energy to get through the day does not mean that you're lazy. It means that your body is under attack. You have an autoimmune condition. You're doing the best you can. And also, I want you to know that your worth is not measured by your productivity. I'm going to say that again. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. Your worth is because you are. You are valuable because you are you. Period. You are valuable because you are you. I hope you know that. You are valuable. You are not lazy. And now with the spoon theory, you have language to talk to your family and friends about what's going on with you and with your health. And maybe together, if you have, a husband or kids, friends, whatever, you can figure out specific things that you can say. Like for me and my husband, I can't do this. I can't make supper. Can you make supper tonight? And my husband is amazing, and he will always say yes and jump in and figure it out. And like I said, we do try to keep some easy meals in the freezer or fridge or pantry to help out with those days, and also with a busy family, right? So maybe you want to teach the spoon theory to your family and friends so that you have this common language and say, hey, you know what? I'm really low on spoons. I would love to do blank. I just can't. I don't have enough spoons to do that today. Can we postpone? Can we do that a different day? If it's something like getting together, if it's a meal or something that has to happen, then asking for help and saying, hey, I don't have enough spoons to, go to the kids' athletic event. I don't have enough spoons to go grocery shopping. Can you do this? There's always ways to ask for help, and using this spoon language can help with asking for help, because you're saying, this is what's going on. This is the data. I don't have enough energy. Can you help me out? So I hope this is helpful. Come over to our school community and share your stories. I do have a thread started about the spoon theory. I'd love to hear your stories. Do you use this language with your family already, or are you going to start? And how has it helped you as you figure out, how to navigate your days? Come over to the school community and share your stories. You are valuable. I want to listen to your stories. I want to give you a space to share, a safe space where you can say, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. This is my situation. Here's how I use spoons. And we want to hear your story. Come on over and share. Let's have a conversation and encourage each other. I look forward to seeing you in our Health with Hashimoto's community over at school.com. And of course, while you're there, that's where you can also sign up for the Holistic Hashimoto's course. Check it out in the Classroom tab. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please discuss any concerns and plans with your trusted healthcare professional. If you found this episode helpful, will you please share it with a friend? I'll see you next week on the Health with Hashimoto's podcast.